Hello, Shemai. My name is Judith from Sustaining Life, and today, on behalf of Coed Lleol, Small Woods Association, I am bringing you a little video to show you how to make ink out of some natural resources that are found this time of year, namely blackberries. So this should hopefully be the kind of thing we're looking for at the end of today's little instructional video. So without further ado, let's make some blackberry ink. Bit of fun folklore for you. Apparently you're not supposed to harvest blackberries after the end of September, because according to legend, the devil was chucked out of heaven and landed in a blackberry bush, and therefore cursed the blackberries after the end of September and made them taste vile. But as this little fella and his companions in there are going to be turned into ink and not eaten, I don't think we need to worry about the devil cursing them. So let's go and give them a squash now. Let's get on with the next bit. So we need a bowl, a squashy thing. I mean, this is obviously a pestle and mortar, but you could just use any old bowl, bit of stick, pebble, anything you find around really in the outside will work for that. And then we've got our blackberries here, so popping those in the bowl there, and we'll just basically give them a squash in there. So at this stage, you could just leave it. Okay, you could just squash the blackberries and then just dip a brush or a found object of some kind of stick or a feather and just use that straight away as your ink. That's just one way of doing it. It's very, very simple. What's a bit of fun, if you got some youngsters or are young at heart yourself, is to put a big sheet up or a bit of paper, massive bit of paper, get a big brush or a whole bunch of you know, twigs and sticks, and just dip it in and just fling it, which is very satisfying, very satisfying. It's something that you can do if you want to. So just talking to you here while I'm having a squash of these, you can see that coming on there like that. So yeah, I mean, that's just something you can do very, very simply, is just get some berries, squash some berries. You might want to add a bit of water to them to make them more of the kind of painty, inky stuff, all that goodness. And then just dip your found object or your brush or whatever in there and just fill your boots, really. But what I'm going to do is, if I show you that there now, that's looking rather lovely. But what I'm going to add to this now, measured it out before I came with my measuring spoons, is in there is some vinegar. That's the word I'm looking for. So put some vinegar in here. The half a teaspoon of vinegar that I put on the list ahead of this section. So I know that there's half a teaspoon in there, so that's what this dropping is happening here. And that adds to the process. So we've got that there. I'll pop that down in front there. Try not to knock the camera over, always helps. And then in this little twist of paper here that I've brought with me, again measured out beforehand, is some salt. And these add fixative value, and also they keep the ink from going off. Because I mean, what you can do again is if you're doing this just as something straight off, something to enjoy, you don't have to put any salt or fixative in. You can just play with it in the forest and throw it away sustainably. But if you want to put these things in and you want to, just giving it a good old mix there, as you can see, if you want to put these in, then it stops it from going off if you're going to store it, and also it helps to keep the ink, keep the paint product on the page. So that's just a bit of something, really. So that's all we've got there now. Like I say, you could just leave it at that. Yeah, could very, very easily just leave it at that. What I've decided to do is, I've got a feather here. I'm just going to have a bit of a dip. Excuse me, going off camera a moment. And brought my nature journal with me. And just have a little bit of fun. So just having a draw here on my nature journal, writing away with my feather. And it's, you know, obviously it's not a precise science at this point. It's just quite messy, quite basic, but good fun. And it's very good. Yeah, I know, it's a bad pun. All puns are bad, aren't they? And also you can potentially use the other end of the feather and just make some marks on your page. You can use a stick if you like and make some marks on your page. You know, pop a leaf in there, make some marks. You get the idea. Just basically using what's around in your environment and making some very good marks on your page. I shouldn't be as pleased with myself about that pun as I actually am, really, but there we are. So that's that there, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop indoors and do a little bit more to it, use a bit of heat. Could actually make a fire in the outside. There's some lovely Coed Lleol videos available on other things, one of which is about fire lighting. So if you wanted to do this next stage outside, then you know, Coed Lleol do courses that can teach you fire lighting. You can also teach yourself online, obviously do it with all the safety precautions that are advised. But I'm just going to pop inside now and do a bit more. See you there. So after squashing up the blackberries earlier, I decanted them back into the container I'd foraged them in and have brought them back to the house. Now, as a next stage, another simple one, we could simply filter and decant into our little jar, and then we've got the paint ink for later. But I thought I'd do something a little bit more than that and try not to knock over the kit. Instead, I decided to decant instead this into there to make a sort of heated, stronger blackberry mix. Now you'll notice there's something else in there. That's actually some frozen raspberries, which are past their best, have been languishing in the freezer for a while. So I thought I'd pop them in there as well to bulk it out a little. And as we're going to heat it, we will pop about 100 ml of water in there with it, and that's going to go on the hob and heat for anything between about half an hour to an hour at a low simmer. So it's simmering away nicely here. If you can see it there through the water vapour. Obviously as the water comes off, the ink will get thicker and the berries will add more colour from their skins. If it's getting a bit too thick and it won't be a very good ink at the end, you might want to just add a splash of water there like that, which should help. So now it's time to do a bit of straining, so we'll strain into the bowl from earlier. So there's the strainer. What I'm using here is a simple coffee filter strainer. You can use old tights or a piece of sheet or whatever, but that's just what I'm choosing to use. So we'll put that so you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get the mixture here and we'll just pop it in there like so. I hope it doesn't go everywhere. That's always good if we can avoid making a complete and utter mess. That's always a joy. So what we can see happening here now is just some lovely straining. Okay, let's see how we're getting on with the straining. The last little shake. Well, I think that is looking rather lovely. You can see there. Try and get a good angle on that for you. Some nice looking ink there. So the next thing we need to do is, with our little jar, try and put the ink in the jar. Now I'm going to go freehand here, so wish me luck. A funnel might be handy, but let's see how we get on with this. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that and have learnt something today about how to make ink out of blackberries. Do please see what else Coed Lleol have on offer. The Small Woods Association in England and Wales has courses around and about in the woodlands, and also more of these videos to help you to learn and enjoy and have fun in the outdoors. So do please give that a look. We've got a website, we've got Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as well, so follow those links, give us a like, give us a share, come and find us in woodlands near you. I've been Judith Parry, and this has been a little video on behalf of Coed Lleol, the Small Woods Association. Au revoir, goodbye, take care now.